Hey everybody, Dallisa Hawking here, fifth generation psychic medium, CEO of the awesome super company called Spirit and Spark. And it's quite a week. I definitely been feeling it over this past weekend. There's a lot in store for the week ahead. I'll be welcoming Ashley on in just a couple of minutes to give away a gift. We have a limited number of those, so continue watching. Make sure you share this link with your friends and your family. And also, astrologer Kate Wind, she's no stranger to my YouTube programs, and she's going to come on here and talk about the astrology. And I will be listening very closely to what Kate has to say, because I'm feeling it. It looks like, judging by the comments of people watching this live stream, you're feeling it too. So tag your friends, tag your family members, send them the link, invite them to join us, because we've got a lot to talk about today. You ready? All right, let's do it. All right. First of all, I want to share, I can't give a whole lot of information out, but I did receive an email, and I wanted to let you know that a dear friend of the Spirit and Spark community, one of my dear students, and she's been in a lot of Spirit and Spark adventures with us, Dallisa, if you maybe went to a class with her, or you engaged with her, you may know her because she would talk about her animals and birds and stuff like that. She unexpectedly passed away over the weekend, and so we send prayers and condolences to her family. All right, so Ashley's going to be coming on here in just a second. I'm doing Tarot Tuesday for channel patrons tomorrow, which is Tuesday the 19th at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 Eastern. So if you are a supporter of the YouTube channel, make sure you've clicked that join button down below. Make sure you've hit the subscribe button too, but click that join button and you can jump on tomorrow, ask a question. I'll pull some tarot cards for you. If you are looking to increase your happiness, Christina is offering a class tomorrow, which is also Tuesday the 19th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Go to spiritandspark.com, click on the class calendar. You'll see Christina's upcoming class. You'll see Ashley's upcoming class that we'll talk about in a second. And I have a complimentary mediumship class that I'm doing later this month. So spiritandspark.com, click on the menu and then click classes. So if you're looking to amp up your happiness, which I think a lot of us need at this point, that class is tomorrow with Christina. I do have my complimentary Mediumship 101 class later this month. It's on the 26th, so when you're over on the class calendar, click on that, sign up. We're already halfway full. And so sign up, encourage your friends, your family to do that as well. Spark Plug members, we are continuing our tarot class. It's complimentary for Spark Plug members. And I'm going to do an encore of the Learning the Major Arcana cards this Thursday evening at 5:15 p.m. Pacific time, 8:15 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to learn how to read tarot cards, now is your chance. So that is complimentary again to all Spark Plug members. Thank you to all of our members. Like I said, astrologer Kate Wind will be on here in just a couple of minutes to go over what we can expect for the week or so ahead. So I'm looking forward to welcoming her on. Ashley's going to come on here. Let's just go ahead and bring Ashley on, and then I'll talk about my energy highlights for the week ahead, and then we'll bring Kate on. So Ashley, welcome.
Hi. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here today. So
yeah, this energy is wonky.
Oh boy, yeah.
yeah.
There's kind of been up and down for a while, but
yeah, it feels like it's hitting from like all directions. So Ashley is one of our practitioners that's based in Las Vegas, and a lot of you have been asking for in-person sessions in Las Vegas. Ashley is able to accommodate you, so reach out. She does a lot of really awesome psychic, tarot card sessions, energy sessions, all that jazz. But you've got a couple things coming up that I want to make people aware of. So we talked about your full moon Reiki meditation class. It's this Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. You have 10 spots left, and they are free to the first 10 people. You better do it with integrity. If you don't plan on going, do not take one of those 10 spots. But we're going to show people how to claim one of those 10 spots for Friday night. But what do you do in these full moon Reiki meditation gatherings online?
I have to say every single meditation we do is completely different, and it's very much guided by spirit during them. And so we've been extremely blessed with everybody who joins in. We have some people that come back every single time, and then we have some new faces every time. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So this Friday, especially with the Aries full moon and kind of bringing in a little bit of that fire energy, I'm excited to see truly what happens in it. And as we go through the meditation, as I say, it is all virtual, so you can join from anywhere. I will work with my team and obviously the Reiki energy to heal you during the meditation. So you just connect to yourself and to where you need to be, and I do the work, and it's a beautiful thing to kind of get people to where they need to be in that moment. Mm-hmm. And so we've had some really, really beautiful healings that have happened during them. And so it's such a limited time frame, but to see what you can get out of those meditations is really a blessing.
Yeah, and you're gifting it to our community for these free class passes, which is just amazing. So thank you for doing that. So again, that is this Friday. There are 10 spots left. If you cannot go, or you're thinking you might be busy on Friday night with something else, do not take one of these spots because the 10 spots are going to go like that. So I'm going to show everybody how to do it in a second to claim one of the 10 spots. But the other thing that you're doing is on Tuesday, October 26th and Thursday, October 28th. You've got 5 spots left on the 26th and 8 spots left on the 28th. You're offering a 30-minute session for $30 to celebrate Halloween. Yeah. And you're doing it either in person or virtually. So you can live in Las Vegas or you can do it virtually with Ashley. When you do go on to book it, though, just be aware that it will say it's in person, but Ashley will be reaching out to you to line up all those details if you do need it as a virtual session. So the 26th and the 28th, 30-minute for $30. And you're using special like Halloween tarot cards, right?
Yep. So I have a new jack-o'-lantern tarot deck. We have some Halloween oracle cards, some Samhain oracle cards. Everything is based around the holiday. So it's really fun and exciting. I personally just love them, and I hope you do too.
Yeah, that's fun. So 5 spots on the 26th, 8 spots on the 28th. Those will also go very quickly. We don't do 30 for 30s that often for the public. And so we just wanted to mention that as well. So here's what you're going to do. So if you're interested in the Friday free class pass, or if you're interested in one of the 30 for 30s, you're going to fill out the form on the website. Let me know which or both you want. I'll connect you with Ashley via email. That way you can get the lines of communication going. And so here's how you do it. You go to the website, you click on contact in the menu, and then on the page, just scroll down and type in the message. And in the message, let me know. So in the message, let me know, do you want the class pass? Do you want the session? Do you want both? So just write a little message in that form to me. So go to spiritandspark.com, click contact, fill out the little form, and you have to be one of the first 10 to get that free class pass. And you have to be one of the first 13 people to get the 30 for 30. So time is of the essence. Ashley, is there anything else you want to share with our community today?
You know what? I just want everybody to go forward into this week and have a beautiful, wonderful time. That's all I wish. I just wish for blessings to you and everyone. So that's it.
I love that. I love that. We're going to be busy. We're already busy. We're seeing sessions requested left and right. A lot of folks, if you are somebody in the Las Vegas area or you'll be traveling to Las Vegas and you want an in-person session, I'd highly recommend Ashley. So reach out sooner than later. Don't be like that tourist that shows up on a Friday afternoon and says, hey, I want a session tonight. Plan a little bit in advance. We like advanced planning, don't we? Yeah.
Just a little.
Just a little. Just a tiny bit. All right, Ashley. Well, thank you so much. You're a joy and a blessing. And I appreciate you popping on to say hello to us this morning.
Blessings to all. Thank you.
All right, bye. Oh, I feel like I just need to stretch. Oh, my goodness gracious. I'm going to give you my energy highlights, and then Kate Wynn's going to come on. Yeah, so comment. Let us know how you feeling today. there's just a lot of ups and downs going on right now. So my energy highlights for this week before we bring on Kate: time to take action on plans or ideas that are coming to you. Time to take action. The whispers in your ear or feeling in your gut or your heart is not to be ignored. Make sure you are carefully executing your plans. Do not go rushing into things right now, but it is time to take a strategic action towards your future. It is also a great week to analyze relationships from all perspectives. And if you're feeling like your throat's blocked, or you're feeling like, I need to say something, but I don't know how to say it, don't go blurting out everything this week. Just slow it down, take a breath, and understand, what do you want to say and why. Wednesday is really good energy around, what have you been putting off in regards to your body, in regards to your energy, in regards to your own healing. Wednesday's a great day to get that done. I actually saw on the news over the weekend, they were talking about how a lot of people weren't going to their annual checkups or screenings that they need to have with their doctor because they've been so focused on the pandemic stuff that's been going on. So if you've been ignoring something, you're going to get a knock this week to feel the call to get things checked out. Okay. Also, fear and anger is in the collective. I feel it's on the rise. I do feel like there's these bursts of rage that are going to be coming out that people have been feeling around suppression and control. So how can you release your own fear, your own anger? Because believe it or not, what you do affects the people around you, which then affects the people around them. And it's one of the ways that we can change the frequency in the collective. It affects the whole world. So what you do matters within your own being, your own self. They said to me this morning as I was writing my notes, they said unrest will ultimately lead to a reset. Okay, unrest will ultimately lead to a reset. Your words need to match your actions this week to be successful. Be strategic. And now the Mercury retrograde, there's something happening with that today. And then we're kind of in a shadow period, but I am not the astrology expert. I'm going to leave that to Kate Wind. Kate Wind, as I said at the beginning of the show, she's no stranger to this YouTube channel. She's delightful. I myself have had astrological readings with her, and I'm sure I'll get another one because, birthday's coming up in about 2 months. So I need to know what in the world is 2022 going to hold. So without further ado, let's bring on Kate Wind. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today.
Yes, absolutely. So I know Mercury and Jupiter are doing something. So do you want to start there?
Absolutely. So as of today, we have both Mercury and Jupiter going direct, so meaning they're no longer retrograde, and they're joining Saturn and Pluto, who now are also direct as well. And so that's a big deal because we have all of these planets now finally moving forward in our favor. These last several months with all of these planets retrograde, it can feel like we've been on a treadmill, right? We've been putting in the work, we've been sweating, we've been exerting energy and calories, and we're not seeing the progress, right? We haven't maybe moved forward with what we've been trying to do. So it can be extremely frustrating. Retrogrades, we do have positive things. It allows us to rethink. It allows us to reassess, redo all those things, but that can get tiring, right? We like to be rewarded for what we've been working on. So great news with Mercury. Just in case you're signing contracts, you're buying a house, we still are in that shadow time until November 2nd. And what that means is Mercury hasn't gotten yet to that degree that it was at when it initially retrograded. So it still is kind of passing over some of those last degrees, even though it's not in retrograde status.
So just to check for clarification on this, and it might help people because I'm seeing some of the comments that are here in the live chat. So is it safe to say that these last, and you might even know, I'd be putting you on the spot to say how long it's been, but there have been a lot of things in this retrograde, and there have been a lot of planets and Chiron might still be there, but all these things that are retrograde. But it feels like this extended period of time that we're all just kind of sitting here like trying to figure our stuff out. And now we're finally starting to have things change to go forward.
Correct.
But is this like, how long have we been in this kind of like stalled energy? And is it normal to have it be that long?
So there's a lot of things going on. Every year we experience Saturn and Pluto retrograde. They retrograde every year. So that's nothing new. Mercury retrogrades 3 times a year. Jupiter does not retrograde every year. So that, sometimes we can have an extra planet thrown in. But in addition to the retrogrades, we're getting ready for the Pluto return. I know you've heard me talk about this before. We also still have one more square between Saturn and Uranus coming. So it's hard. I know we love to blame everything on the retrogrades because they're an easy target.
I do.
Yeah. It's an easy target, but we're preparing for things that are much, much bigger. And so to me, just saying like Mercury retrograde, that's like saying, oh, I'm looking for someone that has brown eyes. It's pretty common. And what we're coming to with all these planets moving forward is ultimately the square between Saturn and Uranus, and then the Pluto return of the United States. So that's where we had to start.
Oh, but you did get this in the comments. Just Kate Wynn is my favorite.
Oh, even after all this news. The nice thing is something positive though with Jupiter direct.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's think back to this year, May. I'm like, what's after May? June, July. May, June, July, we got a preview of Jupiter in Pisces. Okay, so in the beginning of the year, Jupiter was in Aquarius. It got to about 1-2 degrees of Pisces, and then started retrograding back. So it's in Aquarius still, but we got this little window. And almost to the exact date that Jupiter moved into Pisces, we heard, at least in Las Vegas, masks off. And masks went off in a lot of states. Then almost to the date that Jupiter retrograded, it was masks back on. Jupiter and Pisces are best friends. They love each other and they do really well. And it's like rose-colored glasses. And what did we see? We really kind of felt like we were in the clear. I think the vaccines were coming out around that time, and people just thought we can move forward. And then Aquarius stepped back in and kind of spanked us and said, no, not yet. So here we are. Jupiter's direct. It still is in Aquarius until December 29th. But I do think it's not as strong because it's like just finishing out the last bit. And I'm looking forward to get back to rose-colored glasses. I think that we should see a turning point when it comes to restrictions being kind of, what am I trying to say? Like
lifted?
Lifted. Yes, lifted. And having that rose-colored glasses again.
So you think that comes with Jupiter moving forward, which is happening, is it today or tomorrow?
I think it's later tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, today, tomorrow.
Yeah, Jupiter always feels to me like a happy-go-lucky energy, optimistic. I mean, I'm a Sag that's ruled by Jupiter. My moon is in Pisces. So I kind of got this like, everything is going to be great, Eventually, everything is going to be great. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'm thinking mostly with just the talks around the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I see a comment like it was chaotic, like it wasn't good. I'm not saying everything was perfect, but I think especially when it came to, the mandates and the restrictions that we saw it lift up, we kind of thought, okay, everything's looking good.
Interesting. Do you think it's going to be a bit of a mixed bag then between, different things that are happening in regards to the Uranus square Saturn that we get on Christmas Eve? I think there's a solar eclipse on December 15th. And then we go into the America's Pluto return. So I would love to be like the most optimistic person in the room because I feel most comfortable there, right? But I also look at the energy and I'm like, this looks like a gigantic shit show. So where do you feel like it's going to be like a mixed bag?
Well, I had to start with some positive news because it's kind of scary, right? It's overwhelming. A couple things. Yeah, we're getting ready for the last Saturn Uranus, and Saturn restricts, and Uranus is kind of unusual things that you don't suspect. So right now the talk is all these restrictions that we're going to maybe have around foods, Christmas toys, all these things, which is wild. December 24th, we've been talking about this. I know me and you at least have been talking about it since the beginning of this year. So restrictions. There should be more restrictions as we go through the end of the year. And then, of course, as we get closer to that Pluto return of the US in the sign of Capricorn, and Pluto's getting to the last degrees of the sign of Capricorn. So we're getting ready for Pluto moving into Aquarius. It's a lot to just like dissect for like this weekly update.
We'll be talking more, and you're coming on like November and December. Yeah. So I get what you're saying. I'm going to just finish this thought real quick before I forget. So I understand what you're saying about perhaps some of the pandemic restrictions that we had, that maybe those aren't going to look the same, feel the same, because we've kind of done this like wave of yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. So I do see that changing, right? Just like in alignment with how the planets are showing up. But then when I look at the energy towards the end of the year, it feels restrictive. And so it makes sense that we're getting restrictions again, but it's not the same as what we had before.
Thank you. That's a great way. Yeah. So I'm thinking just in regards to the pandemic, restrictions should be lifted because of the Pluto return and because Pluto finishing up its time in Capricorn. When we're talking about restrictions, I think we're coming into restrictions when it comes to buying property, when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to what a living wage looks like, when it comes to what is the government saying to us. All of those things are going to be more restricted.
Because I just got chills from head to toe, which is confirmation.
Okay. Because that's Capricorn. Capricorn is the laws, the government, the rules, the structures that have always stood in place that we just assume will be there. All of those things will be questioned, especially as we finish up this time before Pluto moves into Aquarius. And just to give you an idea, Aquarius is for the people, right? If we look back at the last time Pluto was in Aquarius, we can look to 1778. That's how long ago it was, right? That's when the American Constitution was written, and it started with "we, the people." Right. And in order for us to change, and in order for us to get back to where, I'm going to my neighbor and saying, hey, you grow tomatoes, I do this, like, how can we exchange? Or in order to get to that, we have to have some major breakdowns. That's not just going to happen. We have to see major failings, or we have to see things that make us really question, oh, I can't rely on that. That might not be there. Maybe I need to learn how to use essential oils or herbs in order to heal myself, rather than just assuming that I'll be able to go to a doctor and afford that type of care.
Yep. You are literally saying so many things that they have said to me, Spirit said to me, even starting last fall when I did the 2021 prediction video. They made it very clear that there would be this energy that would become more prevalent around bartering, and that goods and services and money would start to shift and change, which tells me that there's some huge overhaul that has to happen in order for us to go back to bartering goods and services. But also, interestingly, based on what you were just saying, I have heard from other psychic mediums, and I even felt it from Spirit myself, and they said, you need to buy a home and you need to buy it now. And so I don't know what's going to be happening, because I haven't necessarily sat down and asked them that specific question, but I have felt that either it's going to become more difficult to purchase a home, or that money is going to be changing in a way that you won't be able to necessarily get the financing. Like, there's something up with purchase of real estate. Do you have any kind of insight on what you think that is, or not? Because I got the same thing.
The only insight that we can give on that, we all lived through this, is when Pluto moved into Capricorn in 2008. What did we see with the housing crises? There's always bookends to the energy. Now, if we go back to Pluto in Capricorn back in the 17th, like when we were founded, we're looking at wars, right? We had the Revolutionary War happening at that point. I think we're beyond the point of war. We have more technology, that there's other ways to harm us rather than just some sort of explosion or bomb, right? Pulling our technology, pulling our monies. These are ways that would be, I think, a war for us now. So I do think that there has to be a bookend to that 2008 Pluto moving into Capricorn.
This is just fun.
Right.
Man, it's just so light
Yeah.
and breezy.
I know. I'm just getting around ready for Scorpio season.
Yeah, because Scorpio season starts in like a few days, a week, something like that. And
Yeah,
I kind of see
Saturday.
Scorpio as like the death and the rebirth, like the cycle of life and death and the phoenix rising and all that. So yeah, I'll let you, what do you want to talk about next?
Yeah, right. Well, I think my point of that is because I do really kind of pride myself as an astrologer of not scaring. I say that after I just shared all that, but like my goal is not to scare people. The idea, I do think it's exciting because in order for Pluto and Aquarius to come, that is the reformation. Right. And that's where we kind of get back to some of the basics. It does rule technology and science. So I do think there's going to be some huge monumental progress in those regards. But we are seeing, more gig workers than ever, because I think people are realizing this way that we've been building. I don't know if it's sustainable for how we've been. So just to kind of put a closing on that, it's not to be scared. It really is just to prepare us for this next movement.
Yeah, Leona's saying I bought an RV, which I think there'll be more and more people. I know somebody here in my town that's like, oh yeah, I live in an RV full time,
Yeah.
and pays very little for a brand new RV compared to a mortgage, right? And I think there's going to be more people doing things like that.
Yeah. Danielle makes a great point as well about Uranus and Taurus. I think that's been there since 2018. We still have a couple more years left of that. But Uranus is untraditional and Taurus is our money, what we value. And so it was interesting when Uranus first moved in Taurus, we saw things like Venmo. We saw things like Zelle, different ways to transfer money, kind of hidden ways to transfer money, even electronic ways to transfer money. We saw the rise in Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, right? So there will just be more and more of that because we still have a couple years left of that energy.
Yeah, and Samantha's even saying it's so difficult to buy a home here in Salt Lake City as a local. It's awful watching our housing crisis. And so I think it's so interesting, right, that Samantha makes that comment and then Leona is talking about the RV, because I think that we're going to have to be really creative on what our lives look like moving forward. What can we simplify? What can we do as a community? What can we do as a collective? I've had clients say to me, well, I want to live in another community with other people that are like-minded, like a spiritual community or some kind of like commune, right? And so I know that that's in the collective because a few people have talked about it, right? So you wonder, how are we getting back to these simpler times? But it feels like it's through these opportunities of being a little bit more like toned down, a little bit more simplistic, a little bit more of like tomatoes for cucumbers or whatever it is, right? So that tells me there's something major that has to happen in order for that to start being the new norm.
Yeah, and I just think what Aquarius rules. Aquarius is out of the box thinking, right? And then to be like, oh, people aren't going to live in traditional homes as much. We quite literally live in this box, right? So thinking outside of the box. So it's the Capricorn, it's the structures, it's all the building that we've done. We've seen more millionaires and billionaires created here in the last couple of years. That's Capricorns. They're builders. And Aquarius has to come in and say, can't we do things a little bit differently? So
yes, and perhaps create a better system of glamping.
Yeah.
Bartering system with glamping. Sorry. Yeah, get your tents out. I'm not kidding. There's something coming with this, and you guys are going to go, oh, we heard it from Kate and Dallisa way back when.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about for this week?
I can just touch on the full moon a little bit. I know Ashley has a class, but we do have the full moon here on the 20th. So we're just a few days away. It is in Aries. It will be opposing Mars and squaring Pluto. So a lot of fiery energy. So it does relate to things like control, intense desires, passionate desires. I know in your original update, you said something about if you're wanting to say something to kind of hold back, that full moon in Aries aspecting those two planets might be a little bit harder.
I try to give people something to aspire to.
Yes. So great advice, but this week it might be a little bit harder to do. But it's good for action. It's good for, if you want to start kind of a passion project, it should give you some determination. You might see some final success with something. And of course, on the worst case side of it, or the lower octave, it can bring hostility, can bring out some like harsh words that we say to other people.
Yeah. I'm seeing it already.
We're 2 days away, so you can absolutely be feeling it.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing all of that great information. Everybody's just going crazy in the comments. I love it. So if you're watching the replay, comment. We'd love to just keep reading your comments, whether you watch it live or the replay. Was there something you wanted to add?
I was just looking at Leona's comment. Leo rising is Leo in this, Kate.
Oh, Leo, maybe just the energy of Leo. It sounds more like Libra right now, right?
We're in Libra season.
Yeah.
I'm a Leo moon. I don't know because I just see my name in Leo. So I was like,
yeah, it really depends on your own natal birth chart. And so if you want to understand how the full moon is going to affect you, or how, Jupiter or Mercury are affecting you, the best way to do it is just book a session with Kate, have her pull up your birth chart, and then look at the transits that are happening, and she'll be able to tell you how you're specifically fitting into what's happening right now and what aspects of your life it'll likely hit. But yeah, what we talk about is the collective, because it's going to hit you one way or another. And so at least the overtones for everything, so that you can navigate it with a little bit more ease.
Especially with that Saturn and Jupiter direct, all of my clients, that's usually the first thing that we're talking about right now, especially as it went direct, because I'm finding what house it sits in and say, okay, have you had some struggles in this area based on what house it's falling in? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, okay, now's the time we can move forward. So the last thing
go ahead.
I was going to say, the last thing I was going to throw in is just Scorpio season this Saturday. So, dive deep. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. It's everything that falls beneath the surface. So great for therapies, great for hiring a financial advisor, things where you're looking at things that don't just sit on the surface, right? A financial advisor, you have to be very honest about what monies are sitting places. If you go to a therapist, you have to be very honest about what happened in the past. So it's an investigative energy. Very different, right, than this Libra season that we're moving out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I learned about Scorpios because every sign has its low expression, its high expression, and life experiences and the placement of all of the other stuff in your chart. But I've noticed with Scorpios, like, I never really know them 100%. Like, they always just kind of keep a little section back.
Yes.
So it's fun dating. I won't say I'll never ever date another Scorpio, but woohoo!
Right.
We all have that one sign that we're like, proceed with caution.
We all have that one sign.
Yes, but it's not fair. Yeah. And it's a blanket statement. But no, we're going to feel that shift into Scorpio for sure. This full moon, I'm already feeling it. I usually feel it a little bit farther out, just because I'm so sensitive to the energies. But this week's going to be a little nutty, but we're all used to a little nutty by now.
Yes.
And so we're just going to breathe and we're going to make our way through it. And everybody should go get a chart reading done with Kate. Your website is thekatewind.com. Yes. And I have her Instagram handle scrolling at the bottom of the screen. So go follow her on Instagram as well. She has great little videos and things she posts on Instagram. So she's definitely worth following on there. And anything else you want to add, Kate?
I think that's all. Thank you so much for having me today.
I know you've been busy. You've been working lots of events and getting it done. So I'll be seeing you, I'm sure, back for November and December on the show. So we'll see you a little bit later.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kate. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. All right, the lovely Kate Wind. I love her. She's awesome. We're going to do your card of destiny. So let me go ahead and shuffle our message for this week. And then as I'm shuffling, I just want to remind you, in case you watched a little bit late today, Ashley has 10 complimentary class passes to her full moon Reiki and meditation class this Friday night, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm sure some of you have already claimed it while we've been doing this live broadcast, but the 10 spots are available complimentary. I'm going to show you how to claim that in just a moment. And as well, if you're in Las Vegas or if you're open to doing a virtual session, she's doing 30-minute psychic card readings for only $30. She has 5 spots left on Tuesday, October 26th, and she has 8 spots left on Thursday, October 28th. We rarely offer the 30 for 30s publicly. We do often do stuff like this for Spark Plug members, but publicly, it is one of your only opportunities you'll probably have right now. So go ahead and let me show you how to do that, and then I'll just pull the card. So you want to go to spiritandspark.com, click on contact, and fill out the form. And in the form, please tell me, do you want one of the free Friday class passes? Please only take one if you're really going to go. So Friday class pass, or if you want one of those 30-minute for $30 sessions with Ashley. Remember, we have a limited quantity on those. So go to spiritandspark.com, click on contact, and then let me know in the form which offer you want, or if you want both. So you're just going to go to that contact page and scroll down and fill out the form and say, I want Ashley's free class on Friday, or I want Ashley's 30 for 30, okay? All right, Spirit, what card do we need for this week? Oh, mercy me. Mercy me. You ready? We got the 5 of clubs, lovelies. 5 of clubs. Let's go ahead and read this. Let curiosity lead the way. Remain open to changes with ideas, plans, and the direction you thought you might be going in. Shifts in thinking are opening up new horizons for you, and it will be wise for you to be fluid and flexible in general and specifically. Flexibility is your greatest power at the moment. Change always brings growth. The 5 of clubs is the card of mental curiosity, and it teaches us to be open and receptive to new ideas or changes that perhaps we didn't initiate or see coming. Curiosity is the key to opening new doors. Be receptive and look to see where that change could lead you to, rather than fearing the loss of what is. This is an opportune time for a spiritual shift that is relative to your daily life. Share what you are learning with those who matter the most in your life. I love this, right? Curiosity is the key to opening new doors. So I went to a class one time. Actually, it was the class that kickstarted all of my psychic work, class I attended in New York. And one of the things that this lady talked about, and she wrote a book called, where is it? The Priest and the Medium, somewhere on my bookshelf. Yeah, The Priest and the Medium. Suzanne Geisman, okay? The Priest and the Medium. Amazing book. You'd love it. I think I'd highly recommend it. Anyway, she's one of the teachers at this workshop. And one of the things that she said that stuck with me is like not getting stuck in that place of fear, right? Because just like this card says, you know, change is here, change is upon us. Things are changing, and it's right in alignment with what I've been seeing in the energy and what Kate was talking about today with the astrology. Change is here, change is coming, and you can't do anything about it in terms of trying to prevent it, right? Like it's coming any which way. But what Suzanne said at the workshop, and I'll paraphrase, is that when something happens to you that maybe was unexpected or it's a part of that change, right? You just kind of pause for a moment and go, isn't that interesting? Because if you truly are in a vibration of faith and you believe that everything is unfolding as it should and that it's unfolding for you, then you have to believe that everything that is going on in your life or in the world is to teach you something. So get curious, just like this card says, get curious. Curiosity is the key to opening new doors. So instead of getting really mad about something or frustrated about something, Instead, you can say, well, isn't that interesting? And just pause. Maybe even think about, why did that show up in my life? What is it here to teach me, to show me? We can't change what's coming. A lot of the stuff that's going to be happening in the United States and in the world, I think we're here right now, alive at this time, to have that front row seat. So what are we going to do with it? What are we going to do with it? Are we going to be like that Aquarius energy that's going to be coming in to help serve humanity, to help serve the people around us, our community? So if you were to have to barter with your neighbor right now, what would you barter? Kind of an interesting question, right? So I send you all beautiful love, light. Remember, life is short, folks. Just like finding out about our dear community member that passed away over the weekend. You never know. You never know when it's the last breath in this human body in this lifetime. So don't waste it. Go do something productive this week. Be strategic about it, and don't go running off at the mouth. Okay? Lead with curiosity. Isn't that interesting? All right, beautiful souls. Remember, if you need a session, virtual or in Las Vegas, let us know. spiritandspark.com. Make sure you're following us on Facebook and Instagram as well. And that you subscribe to this channel. If you want to do my Tarot Tuesday tomorrow, where you ask a question, I pull tarot cards for you. Make sure you've clicked the join button down below. All right. Make sure you go ask for Ashley's offers right now before they're gone. Thanks, everybody. Make it a great week. Bye for now.